when you hit and you're coming in, or just post impact, your head stays down too long.
Yeah.
Your shoulders stop turning, your hips stop turning a little bit, and then here's some of the rolling. So you look, you know, close to this picture.
Yep.
And I would say the opposite would be, I would start practicing hitting the ground. The hitting the ground piece will help slow down some of the rolling of the hands, because you'll use the ground as like a training aid. And then as you're doing that, you're going to make sure your head keeps turning or following the ball more, and that would help open up your shoulders just a little more coming through the ball. And that will also help turn the hips a little bit more coming through the ball.
Hey guys, so it's that time of year again for us at CogornoGolf.com. Our prices will be going up as of July 15th. And I want to make sure you're aware of this. So if you sign up before July 15th, you lock in our current prices forever, for as long as you're a member. So currently our prices are $69 a month or $495 for our yearly price. As of July 15th, they will be going up to $89 a month and $595 for the yearly. You guys have showed us awesome support, and to keep up with our demand, right, we have no choice, but eventually we have to raise some of those prices. Myself and all of our coaches are there 24/7 for you to send in your swings, right? We give you that monthly feedback that you get and answer all the questions you have. I'm telling you guys, it's awesome. I wish I had this back when I was playing to use as a resource. You get all of our practice plans. You get a specific plan from a coach, what drills to do, what priorities to focus on, what not to focus on, how many reps to do of those drills, when to move on to the next piece. And guess what? We don't just leave you go do them. We're there. Ask us questions. We help you guide through feels. All of us have been working on our own games. We know what it's like to take your game to the next level. You're going to absolutely love our community there. July 15th is when those prices go up. If you want to lock in that lower price, you've been thinking about joining, I urge you to do so. I'm very confident we can help you with your golf game. We'll put the link to Cogorno Golf down below. All right, Steve, so let's talk some follow through, yeah?
Yeah.
Some follow through for me, you know, my swing, what I have, and then maybe just some like general things in there as well.
Yeah, this will be the part that would help take off some of the left curve.
Yeah, so when we were talking about my backswing, right, having the backswing, the depth pieces, the arm structure,
yeah,
we were saying if anything, from where I'm getting with my current follow through, I might potentially have it hooking too far left.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what pieces do you see in my swing that we could work on in that,
Yeah,
say, pass the ball?
the first thing would be to make sure that your shoulders and hips and even your head and neck keep turning, coming through the ball more, because when you hit, you have a tendency to stop your hips and shoulders, and then the club starts rolling a little bit through the ball. So the first thing I would do is I would start with punching the balls out to where I would be hitting. I would start hitting the ball, and I would almost like stop at impact and make sure my head keeps following the ball and my hips and shoulders.
Can you show us to this camera, Steve, if you would? Like, show us the bad. Like, what do I do bad?
So when you hit and you're coming in, or just post impact, your head stays down too long.
Yeah.
Your shoulders stop turning, your hips stop turning a little bit, and then here's some of the rolling. So you look, you know, close to this picture.
Yep.
And I would say the opposite would be, I would start practicing hitting the ground. The hitting the ground piece will help slow down some of the rolling of the hands, because you'll use the ground as like a training aid. And then as you're doing that, you're going to make sure your head keeps turning or following the ball more, and that would help open up your shoulders just a little bit more coming through the ball. And that will also help turn the hips a little bit more coming through the ball.
And when I do my bad version, what does that like lead to? Like, what would be the issue with that?
So the bad version with your new backswing, so with the new backswing and the bad version of the follow through, would lead to overhooks and some thin pieces because of how the radius is like fluctuating through the ball a little bit.
So I bet a lot of people would,
maybe some thin pushes too, but mainly thin hooks because of where the face is now with the new backswing.
And I get where you're going with that, but I think that might go over some people's heads.
Yeah.
What does that mean? The thin part.
So
the radius.
Yeah. So the left arm and shaft would be, well, let's just say the left arm and shaft's the radius, the club head's the circumference.
Okay.
If the club head passes your hands or you have too much cupping, that's an upward motion, that would make you hit thin.
So if you like hold that out to my chest for this camera type of thing. So let's say like on the ground.
Yeah, if your buttons are the ball right here.
Yep.
And if the club's passing you like this, see, that's an upward motion. That would be thin. Whereas if it stayed, the left arm and shaft stayed in line, that would make the club stay lower to the ground longer to reach the ground.
So when I do that release pattern action, it gets the club head farther from the ground which
And it
quite
makes
literally
it-
would bring the club head up.
Yes.
My thin shots.
Thin shots, yeah,
Okay.
that's where your thins would come from.
And then the hooking, because of like the over closing of
Yeah,
the face.
yep, just the wrist is just like bouncing around at the
Hard
bottom.
to, yeah, manage that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for me, as I'm starting that,
Yep,
let's say, you know, I'm here,
correct, yeah.
which like, you know, for various reasons, I really practice that for a long period of time.
Yep,
I'm not there by accident, we'll say it that way.
yep,
So for me to go from this sort of look to, let's say, like here,
yep.
I need to feel what?
I would be, first off, I'd be practicing hitting the ground,
Okay.
using the ground as like your training age, real short swings, yep. And as you're doing that, I would let your head turn and follow the ball more, and that would help open up your hips and shoulders a little bit more coming
So
through.
if my head stays down,
Yes. The shoulders stop turning.
okay. And so that keeps me more closed.
Yes.
My head, can we say turns? It doesn't lift.
No, you still are keeping the your inclination to the ground, or your head on the wall, as we'll say.
Yep.
That you're just following the ball down the fairway.
Okay. So my head or my neck is turning,
Yeah.
but I'm not lifting my head. My
Correct.
head stays on the wall,
Yep. So you still
but
stay
I'm
in
turning.
your tilt. Yep.
Still stay in my tilt.
So if you're going to pop some of these out, I would just hit it like 50 yards, real short. Just follow the ball and punch the ground where there's like no rolling of your wrists.
So if I'm just a normal golfer coming up seeing this, my thoughts are hit the ground,
Yep.
let my neck and eyes turn to the
Bingo.
target. Okay. 50 yards.
Yeah, just a short one.
I don't know if I can hit 650 yards, Steve.
You can.
Okay, hit the ground, eyes out.
Right, that's it. Now, if we had a before and after, and you saw the difference,
Yep.
you would see how there's way less rolling of the club, and you'd see how your head and shoulders kept turning.
Yeah.
I know you hit behind that ball a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the photo was like perfect for
Perfect,
how
okay.
you want to practice it follow through.
And I'm starting at 50 yards. Why?
Just to get the feel of it,
Yeah.
how to get this picture right first. Do the principle, right? Do the principle right at a short speed, and then once you can get it right, then keep cranking up the speed more and more and more.
Let's say we did one or two, and I did them good at 50.
Yep.
Then maybe I would just like slowly go a little farther, a little farther, a little farther, a little farther.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Ready?
Yeah, you can go in front if you need to,
Okay.
just for this one.
All right, ready when you are.
Okay.
Just pop it out. Exactly. Did it again.
So that picture is this. So what are you seeing in that picture that you like?
Just how the head kept releasing
Yep.
and how there's no rolling in your wrists at all.
So from this face-on angle here, my old picture, I'm just gonna give my, like this is
Yeah.
my old picture would be like this.
Yes.
Butt of the club's back at the target, eyes down at the ball.
Yep.
My new picture, it looks to me like the club's pointed straight back at me,
Yep.
and my bill of my cap is on the same angle.
Yep. That'd be fair to say.
Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I did that at like 90 yards.
Yep.
Can I go to like 110?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going.
So I'm hitting the ground,
Yep.
and I'm letting my eyes and neck turn more.
Yep. Another nice one, no hook. Now what this will do from the down the line view, as you're doing this better from the down the line view, this would help make, do your setup, this would help make your arm, your right arm, work inwards more as you kept releasing your head and turning your shoulders. That'd make your arm work in more, so the exit would be lower,
Yep.
which is also going to help stabilize the club face more,
Got
because
it.
your right arm's going to be tighter to your side.
So when I keep my head down
Yep.
and I don't turn as much, my arm goes down the
Your
target
arm-
too much.
Exactly.
And it should, as I'm turning,
It should be inside your stance line, let's say like 30 degrees by the time your arm's
so
parallel
let's do that
to
to
the
this
ground.
one.
Yep.
So by the time I get to,
Yeah, so here's your stance line.
Yep.
So your right arm would be inside your stance line approximately 30 degrees by the time it's parallel to the ground.
right arm's inside 30 degrees parallel. So at this point, I don't want my right arm down my toe line.
No.
Obviously that gives me a different look here.
And it makes the exit too high from the down the line view.
Okay, so this should be here.
Yes.
Now, as I'm doing that, I also like, I always like to reference in my mind where my hands or butt of the club is relative to my feet.
Yeah.
So from here, I would say from this too, if I do that piece correctly,
your hands are in more.
they're in more. And it
Yes.
feels to me like the butt of the club's closer to my heel line.
Absolutely.
That's what I feel on the
Oh,
way
yeah.
through. Yeah.
It should be on your heel
On
line
the heel line.
about at that point.
Talk about that wall drill. So let's, I was probably 120, 130. We said we like that still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little farther.
Yeah. But you see how you're doing, all you're feeling is you're just feeling your head and hitting the ground, and that's taking care of the down the line part.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not feeling like I'm turning more or anything like that.
No, just follow the ball and keep punching the ground. Nice one. Started straight, and it had the tiniest bit of cut because of the wind.
Yeah, that was, take that all day.
And this is the piece that we're practicing right now to take off the over hooks.
Take the overhook off.
So we'll do it one more time, and I'll hold this in here. This should be easy to swing underneath of because you're just going to keep following the ball and punching the ground. Right, and there's your hands in, and there's the face not rolled.
Yep. So when I look from down the line, Steve,
Yep.
one of the reference points I would look for me, right, who has that head down, you know, lots of, because I definitely get thin shots.
Yeah.
That's definitely my miss.
Yeah.
When I get this here,
Yep.
my shaft kind of gets above my shoulder over my neck.
Well, not your shaft. Your hands really do. Your hands come out too high. The hands and arms.
Well, my shaft, I guess, I mean,
maybe with a driver, but when
Yeah.
I was filming earlier,
well,
there was too much rolling.
but that, see, like that shaft under my, I hear what you're saying. That shaft under my shoulder's like good for me.
I know.
Traditionally, if we looked at like the past 15 years,
Yep.
I'd be like up here.
Yep.
But when you're looking from down the line, are we looking for like what are the exit points I'm looking for?
Yeah, so you gotta do that. So I had the shaft in here a minute ago.
Yeah.
And what this is doing, as you're following the ball and hitting the ground, this is keeping your hands down more. So your hands are exiting underneath of your left shoulder.
Yep.
And it's also making sure that your right arm is right on your shoulder plane on your follow through. So like we said in the earlier video, we want your left arm to be on your shoulder plate on the backswing, and you just flip it
Right
for
arm
your
on the
right
way
arm
through.
on the follow through.
Okay. So if I did this sort of thing too, sort of the same
Yep.
concept. Okay. Gonna go a little longer.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just, all I feel is I'm hitting the ground and my neck is
and
turning.
following the ball. Nice. Tiny curve into this wind.
Well, and most importantly for me, we had discussed previously, I hate seeing the ball start too far right.
Yeah.
So like for me to start a ball 10 feet left is glorious.
Yeah.
Like I'm all over that.
Well, the more that you keep doing this piece, following the ball, hitting the ground, and keeping your exit down more, the less the club's going to want to swing out to the right, so that it'll actually be pointing the face straighter at the target line as you're doing this.
Yeah. So when I normally go, my shaft angle gets vertical.
Yeah, there's too much rise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes too
Face
far
points
out.
to the right.
Mhm.
Pushes.
So do one more like this.
So hit the ground,
Follow
eyes
the
out.
ball. Really nice.
Yep. So now obviously for me, Steve, we mentioned for my follow through, and this is a lesson about me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now I hit, you know, what we would call kind of the pushes and the hooks. Sometimes get too far under playing too much of this. Are a lot of these things still relevant, kind of regardless of where you're coming from? Like as an average handicap player, you know, they might need to kind of kick swing direction a little differently.
Yep.
But still, a lot of these movements, they still should be turning.
Yep.
This should still look, you're still trying to keep it fairly neutral.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not like this is just for me because I happen to do what I do.
I would say this would be more of like the higher handicap the lower handicap problem, where they swing too far to the right, they have too much rolling coming through the ball, the exit's too high.
Okay.
This would be for a player that's like pushing and hooking.
Pushing and hooking.
This would be the recipe for a player pushing and hooking. If you're slicing the ball, don't do any of this.
Okay.
Or
Got it.
at least this part of it.
Got it.
I mean, that ball's not curving too much.
that's nice.
It's blowing pretty good right now.
Yeah, that feels good. Cool. So for me, with where my action gets in, if someone has those same pieces, use the ground.
Yep.
Right?
That's the first
As a
part
training
that
aid.
stabilizes the wrist.
To get rid of this for me,
Yep.
for the thins.
Yep.
And then as I'm working through, I'm allowing my neck to turn
Yep.
to help my body turn.
And then as you're doing that, that's helping keep your right arm in more.
right
But
arm
the
in.
last little thing is if you can't set up like a station to where you have like an alignment rod or something like this,
Yeah.
take that glove out in your right pocket and put that underneath of your right arm,
Yep.
because that'll help keep your right arm tighter to your body too as you do this.
Yeah, that's solid, dude.
Yeah. And you feel how tight it is. There's
Yeah,
like no
that feels
twisting.
excellent.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I like
Yeah.
that. Follow
Those were
through
good
pieces for
in
me. I
this
like
win.
it. Thanks,
Yeah.
dude. Appreciate it.